how Nayarbai and Omida prepares us is that how mentally tough you can be to execute at that time. So even though if you work hundreds of balls or 20 overs or 30 overs in the nets, when it comes to that match situation, it's always the pressure that you must handle the pressure. So that's what they make us do then.
Another season with the Kolkata Knight Riders. It's your second year. How has your experience been with the team so far? What are you missing the most this year?
Last year when I joined the team, so I came late into the team. Like not late, I mean I was not picked up in the auction. Nagarkoti got injured, then I was called up. So I was literally waiting for the first match just to see the crowd, and it was amazing. So the atmosphere in Eden, that's the most I'm missing, I guess.
And when we talk about last season, there was one game in particular against Kings 11 Punjab when you dismissed both KL Rahul and Chris Gayle. You know KL Rahul. So
Yeah.
how was that experience? Taking his wicket, did you go up to him and celebrate? Was that moment special?
No, so KL's wicket was my first wicket in IPL, and I don't know, I just got lucky there, I guess, because I didn't even celebrate, I guess. I just thanked everyone, that's all. I didn't even celebrate because it was like getting my first wicket. So the first match I was wicketless, so that wicket was a big relief for me. So yeah, I got lucky in that match, I guess.
Did you have a conversation with him after the match?
We didn't have a conversation. We just had a like I was sitting in the back of the bus and he just knocked my window and told, yeah, he showed something. Yeah, all the best. Something he told. That's all. Yeah, we didn't have a conversation. Yeah.
Super. Now, with the Kolkata Knight Riders, you get to share a dressing room with international talent that are extremely good at what they do. What is that experience like? Spending time with all of your teammates, they're so different and yet also talented.
Yeah, see the main thing that we learn from each and every person is that how they treat the game. So for me, like even from our Indian international players, it's like whoever has represented India, Robbie Bhai, DK Bhai, everyone, Shubman, like the way they prepare or the way they treat the game, it's a lot different than we see in domestic cricket. So yeah, it's just the mindset that we can get from IPL or playing a bit higher than domestic. That's all. It's just the mindset. So how confident in they are executing the skills they have. So they won't hold ourselves back. If we are playing domestic cricket, we may hold ourselves back. We may be not 100% sure about what we are doing. But one level above, even though if they are not 100% sure, they will just go and execute it. They will back themselves and go and execute. That's the only thing that's the main difference that I found one step above. That's all.
When you talk about the Kolkata Knight Riders Academy, earlier this year you spent some time with Abhishek Nair. How was that experience?
Yeah, it's good. So the thing is that he has been. So I was there for 2 weeks just before IPL, and then before that I went the last year I went the in between the IPL. So it's again just the skill work. So how Nayarbai and Omida prepares us is that how mentally tough you can be to execute at that time. So even though if you work hundreds of balls or 20 overs or 30 overs in the nets, when it comes to that match situation, it's always the pressure that you must handle the pressure. So that's what they make us do there. So they will make us bowl in the match scenarios, everything that comes, like what will come in the match. So yeah, like it's more like a match preparation there, and more of mental preparation there rather than skill.
You also got to spend some time with your teammates. How was that? Did you get to bond? Because I understand that all of you all were living in one house and not there.
Yeah. So the thing was there were two houses. Nikhil, Rahul, Varun, and Nikhil, Rahul, and Varun were staying in one house, I guess, and me, Ranaji, Rinku, and Siddharth and DKY were staying in another house. So we were staying in a hotel that's 5 minutes away from the house. So yeah,
Okay.
it was good. It was good. Going to the gym together, going to the ground together. It was fun. It was fun with the teams.
Where did this love for fast bowling begin? We know that you watched Fire in Babylon many times before, but where did this real impetus start?
So see, I really don't know where I started becoming a fast bowler, because when I started playing cricket when I was 14 or 13. From that time I was a fast bowler. It's not like I was something else and I changed into a fast bowler. From the first I was a fast bowler. So yeah, it was like always there. The love was always there for fast bowling, but I guess the time that it changed, like I just want to bowl fast, or I just want to be like that attitude of fast bowler came in when I was playing under 25 for the Kerala team, and there was one match against Railways, in which we got all out for 120 something, and we got them all out for 70. So it was like we were just two fast bowlers, me and Niaz Niza, one more guy, and we both got five wickets each. So that's how we won that match. So that was the experience that changed. Okay, I'm just going to be a real fast bowler, because that was a very good wicket for the fast bowling, and that changed our mindset.
Fantastic. But there was also a time in your life where you were to decide between engineering and cricket, and you chose the latter and dropped out from engineering. How difficult was, or how easy was that for your family to accept? What was that situation like?
See, for my family, for my dad, it was pretty easy, I guess, because he is a guy who will always tell, it depends on you what you want. You can choose whatever you want, you can be in that path. But for my mom, it took some time for her to digest that, because she always wanted me to finish engineering and get that degree and get a job. Yeah, so she was a bit. It took some time for her to accept it, but my dad was cool from the beginning. He always knew that whatever your mind says, you do that. He was not someone who will force you into something. Yeah.
You made your first class debut at 20, and then in 2013 you found yourself bowling to Team India in the nets when India was playing England in Kochi. How was that time? How was it like interacting with Virat Kohli, and then you found yourself in the RCB squad? So walk us through that entire process.
See, I guess that 2012 to 13, that 1 year was a complete, the luckiest year till now. I guess it's the luckiest year till now, because I played under 25. I directly got called to Ranji Trophy. I played Ranji Trophy. I finished Ranji Trophy, and luckily India was playing a match in Kerala, and Indian manager was M.A. Satish sir. So he happened to call me saying Indian nets is there, can you come there? I went there, and when I was bowling again, so I told no, the whole thing was luck. So Virat Bhai was there at that time. He saw me, and I don't even remember. I don't think we spoke that day, but that night Avinash sir called me saying we are interested in signing you. So and after that IPL, I went on to play for India and to under 23 also that year, Emerging Cup. We won that Emerging Cup. So yeah, that year was a complete lucky year for me, 2012 and 13. I made all the debut, except I'm not saying IPL debut. I'll say all the debut that year, I guess.
They say that T20 cricket is more grueling on a bowler than it is on a batsman. Do you agree with that? And why do you think that is?
Mostly I don't think that, but the thing is that concept is there because people or the fans come to see fours and sixes. So if a team gets all out for 50 or 60 and the other team chases down that in 20 overs, that won't be a fun T20 match for the fans.
So what happens is it's already difficult to be a fast bowler and a good one at that. And then you're playing the IPL, which has so much pressure and that has such a grueling schedule. How do you handle the pressure of playing in the IPL?
For me, the thing was that I played IPL after 55 matches. So I was out for 55 matches, but I was with the team for 55 matches, and then I played the 56th match of mine. I am telling. So I was with the. So for me, it was not much of a pressure because I was thinking just like if I'm able to execute my plans, I will be successful. If I am not able to execute my plan, then I'll have to work more. That was the only thought process that I was having at that time. So it was for me, last year was not much of pressure because nobody was expecting anything from me, and I also had not much of expectation from me because it was the last 3 matches that I played. So yeah, last year it was not much of a pressure, but yeah, we'll see how it goes this year.
And in the time that you got to spend with the team but not playing, was that important in developing a mindset to just get how the tournament is and what it demands? Did that period serve as sort of a preparation period in terms of mindset for you?
Yeah, that would have served as a mindset for me because I was training with the team that time. I was traveling with the team that time. So yeah, bowling to all these top guys, Russell, DK Robbie Bhai, Shubman Gill, Rana ji, everyone at that point of time may have boosted up my confidence.
So you've also recently been working on some variations, the knuckleball and the off-cutter, to name a few. How do you bring these variations into play when you're in a match set? Because you have only 20 overs and you have a certain match situation, what the team wants from you, what you think is. How do you decide?
See, I just go by my intuitions because I don't think too much way ahead what will happen, but I just go by my intuition. So if I feel that like I've been bowling in the same pace or I've been bowling I've been feeding in the same the same way to the batsman, I may try to change it up. If he's not if he's struggling with that, I may continue with the same thing. So yeah, it's just my intuition. I just go with my intuition, and maybe to an extent according to the wicket. So if the wicket is helpful for the fast bowlers or if it has good speed and bounce, then I may not be using so much variation. But if the wicket is slow on the slower side, then you will have to go on for the variations, cutters, slower balls again.
Alright, you spoke of the Yorker a little while earlier. 2 deliveries that you execute really well are the Yorker and the slower ball. What is the mentality behind bowling these deliveries in pressure situations like a power play or the death over? Do you have to be extra cautious?
See, the thing was that I never bowled a death over in IPL. For the last year, I was just bowling till the 14th over and I was finishing my quota of 4 overs. So in IPL, I don't know how that works. Will there be that much of pressure executing? Because if you see, the best of death bowlers now who plays IPL is Malinga, Bumrah. So even their success rate, if you tell, will be 7 out of 10. So so in IPL I don't know, but in domestic cricket, yeah, obviously you feel that pressure, and it is you will have that pressure to execute at that time, but that's what you are looking forward to, right? Like if you're not able to handle that pressure at that time, then you won't be able to excel in what you're doing. So that's what the moments that you are looking for. So if you want to win a match for your country or you want to win a match for your IPL team and you have last over 6 or 7 runs, that will be the opportunity that you are looking for. Maybe for past 10 years or 12 years in IPL, that will be the one thing that you'll be looking for. So yeah, so there will be pressure, but it will be fun also. If you're able to execute it, that will be the best thing that could have happened.
Was there any focus on death bowling at the KKR Academy? Did you do any work around that?
Yeah. So that's what I told you. No, so mentally, how you can get there to execute the plans. That's what we work the mostly. So he will give us match scenarios like last 4 hours if the batsman need to hit 45 or 60 runs, or and we will have to take this many wickets. So that's how it works there. So yeah, so been doing a lot of bowling in the power plays, bowling in the death. Yeah, so been doing that a lot.
Okay. Are there any variations fast bowler that you think work are effective only in T20 cricket and not otherwise?
I have used knuckle ball only in white ball cricket. Yeah. So red ball I have not used that much. That's all. I won't tell T20 cricket in one day also. Yeah. So white ball and red ball I will tell.
And moving forward, any goals you have set for yourself in the short term future that you want to accomplish?
From past 2-3 years, I have not been setting much of goals for me because I was someone who used to set a lot of goals and used to get disappointed if I'm not able to achieve that. So, like if I set a target and if I don't achieve that target, and even if I come close to that target, I won't be happy. So that that didn't help me much. So from past 2-3 years, I'm someone who doesn't keep much targets, or I just be in the process. What I can do the best, so I do what I can do, and that's it. Rest everything will come.
That's also brilliant. Living in the moment is a great way to be.
That's the easiest way.
Huh?
That's the easiest way.
Easiest way, and it's I think the best way. When you don't have any expectations and you do something, then you have to pat yourself on the back, right? But earlier this year, you spent some time in New Zealand with India A. How was that experience?
So I've been with the India A for 3 tours. One was in India itself. Sri Lanka A team came here. Second was in West Indies, and third was in New Zealand. So this year we went to New Zealand with the India A team, and for me it was good. It was good experience out there. So like going out there with the team, yeah, I made a lot of memories, and I made a lot of friends, new friends, I will tell.
And that was the last cricket you played pre-corona. Post-coronavirus, it's all going to change. At least that's what we're speculating at the moment. Especially when it comes to red ball cricket, saliva may not be allowed to be used on the ball. How do you think that's going to change things?
It's going to change a lot of things because that's the only thing that we rely on. Most of the bowlers have relied on swinging the ball. So maybe it can work on both ways. So since we are looking to swing the ball, maybe using saliva, like not using saliva will hurt us a bit at the start of the innings, but maybe the ball will reverse a lot more quicker. So maybe that which used to happen in 50 or 60 overs may happen in 20 or 30 overs. So yeah, so you never know. Maybe that will help us a lot.